Well, hello, all of you string picking guys and gals out there. Welcome back to the String Pickers channel here at my obscene studio. I am your host, Casey. And if this is your first time here, like and subscribe, by the way. And today's episode, putting in more of these guys. Ladies and gentlemen, I have done a video in the past about Puretone Output Jacks. Puretone Output Jacks are simply amazing. But there's a problem. It seems like there are a million videos out there. Only a few, very few, explain the actual purpose of these jacks. The reason why I am doing this video is because I was asked the question, what does it do? Is it going to make my playing sound better? No, it is not. I do not want you to think that you are dumb. I do not want you to think that you are misinformed. There is only one or two videos that I've seen, and I watch a lot of this YouTube stuff, that explain the actual purpose of a Puretone jack. It doesn't make your guitar sound better. It doesn't improve your tone. Hey, I tell you what, let me just show you right now. I shot some slow-mo footage of the purpose of a Puretone jack. How many of you have ever been walking on stage and playing and this happened to you? Just gigging along, picking your notes, and then step on your chord and that's right, ladies and gentlemen. Puretone jacks help hold that amp cord into place. Now, there are other fixes for that, and one of those fixes would be this: wireless guitar systems. I use these a lot right here in the studio because if you haven't noticed, I do not have a whole lot of space in here, but these come in handy. That way I'm not tripped up on any amp cords. Does it mean that I stopped using amp cords? No, I still find a reason to use amp cords in this studio with one instrument or another, or running into the DX16 that we had in the last video that you guys seen. But however, that is the purpose of a Puretone jack, to lock that cord into place with a multi-point connection. Here is the slow-mo footage. In the first footage, you can see that this is not a Puretone output jack. This is a stock jack in a guitar that I have that I will be changing soon. And in the next video, you will see, now all of this is shot in slow-mo footage. Look at the difference in how much weight it takes to pull this wireless system out of a Puretone jack. There is your comparison, ladies and gentlemen. You've seen in both of those videos, there is the before and I give the poundage, and the after and I give the poundage to that. That, ladies and gentlemen, is Puretone jacks. That's what they do. That's why I love them. I thank Brant and Ted and Chris at BCG 5150, all of you guys, for using these things, because you sparked my curiosity and I had to try them out. And because of that, I have fell in love with Puretone jacks. This is my girl, Eden. Eden is a Washburn X Series. Eden is a very, very nice guitar. I bought this guitar about a year ago, and my wife simply loved the color. And I come up with the name that was kind of goofy for it, and she goes, no, let's not do that. She says, I love the color of it. In the daylight, it looks teal, and it's a quilted maple top. Teal is her favorite color. In here, it's sort of a darker green, but we decided on calling her Eden. This guitar is a powerhouse. I love this guitar. It does not need a Puretone Output Jack. This one holds fairly well. I do not want to mess with this guitar much at all if I can keep from it. It's always had good tuners. It's got good Seymour Duncans in it. Everything about this guitar is nice. I love this guitar. So we're not touching this one today, but we're going to touch this one today.
Stop
I'm
it.
not touching you. I'm not touching
Man,
you.
stop.
I'm not touching you. I'm not
Stop,
touching you.
stop,
I'm not
stop.
touching you. Yes, this guitar has gotten an overhaul. There is a 3-part series on this guitar. Go back to my playlist and look up the Fesley FLP 400. Guitar's got a story. Did not approve of this guitar when I got it. It had needed a lot of work, but I give it a complete overhaul except for one thing. That right there. We didn't change that. See that? We didn't change that. So we're going to put a Puretone Output Jack in this today, and then it will be ready to go. This guitar is conveniently named Lieutenant Dan. He ain't got no legs. There's no legs. Because I said in part 3 that I have a lot of respect for our men and women in the military who are sacrificing their lives to make sure that we have the freedoms to do what we do. This reminds me of some National Guard Army camouflage, and that used to be on suits back in the day when I was in high school. I think it might be a different camo now, but that immediately came to mind. And so I decided, why not? Lieutenant Dan is kind of funny and adds respect at the same time. So we're going to put one in this one today. As far as our product review, Puretone Jacks are expensive, but these Puretone Jacks are pretty good. Got to looking through Amazon, and I was buying 2 of these at a time for $12.99. $12.99. Well, right now on Amazon, you can get 5 of them for about $20 to $21. And so I jumped on it. I was like, heck yeah, $21 for 5 of them. I mean, that's saving a lot of money, and it's like getting 2 sets of the 2-packs and getting 1 free. So I jumped on that. So we are going to put these in today into Lieutenant Dan and help Lieutenant Dan out. Also, I wanted to bring up the fact that I have made a little neck wrap. Now, guys, please, just hold on. Just hold on just a second. Just hold on. I know it's cheap. I know it's cheap. I only have 2, 3 in the studio that have neck wraps, and I didn't have one for this one. I wanted to stop the ring out from right here. So I made one. I had a piece of Velcro, had this nifty sticker that Mr. Brandt from Tone Yeager sent over to me. If you've not subscribed to his channel, please go do it. Tone Yeager is a genius. I'll send you a bill in the mail, Brandt, for all the compliments. So I ended up making a neck wrap for this guitar and put my buddy Brandt's little sticker logo thing on the neck wrap, and it does a good job. It is made cheap, but it works. You know, I just did it with things I had around here in the studio. So don't hate. So now that I've got a 5-pack of those, I want to put them in other guitars that I have here in the studio. I definitely wanted to put it into Lieutenant Dan, because Lieutenant Dan, once he got gutted and got new pickups and push-pull knob to where I can split those pickups and changed out all the electronics in it, that guitar is bad to the bone. I love playing this guitar. I cannot believe that I've got probably $150 into that thing, and, well, quite a bit of time. But the sound I get from that guitar is just simply amazing. Just a great guitar. So we're going to put it on the bench today. We're going to put a Puretone jack in it, and I'm going to invite you guys along for the ride. How about it? You know, guys, I think that guitar manufacturers need to put Puretone jacks in everything. I do. I've said it. I know that some companies like Fesley are wanting to do cheaper stuff so they can sell cheaper guitars. I do not have a problem with that. I have no problem whatsoever. If you want to put cheap parts in guitars to sell them, then that's your thing. That's not mine. However, if you want people to keep buying your instruments, then you need to put at least some quality parts in there, because as a musician, I will say this, and I want you to understand that I will pay a few extra dollars for a quality instrument instead of buying something for over $100 that I have to change everything out on. But that being said, string pickers, we're here to show people how to do this, because we don't always get what we want. And that is the thing with musical instruments. We don't always get what we want. Okay, let's move this up here. We got the screws and got the nut off of that output jack. So let's pull this out here. Now see, this is what I'm talking about. Let me crop in on this kind of. You see that? I mean, that right there is not going to last too long. Now, it was fitting good, but I give that about a month of plugging in and out of, and that's going to get loose as I don't know what, and the cord or wireless device is going to stop sticking in there so well. But we are going to take care of that today. And by the way, what did you guys think about the Puretone, the weight it took to take that out as compared to the other ones? Leave it in the comments below. I thought that was pretty impressive. It was like 4 times stronger than the actual stock jack was. And that was in Donnie, my telly, which is also going to be getting one of these two. That's going to happen after this guitar. But I'm just using Lieutenant Dan to show you guys exactly, once again, how we do this. It's really simple. And they're not hard at all. If you have any kind of soldering experience, and trust me, I did not, before I ever started working on electronics of guitars, I had nobody to show me. I had nobody to tell me. I just did not have any knowledge whatsoever of soldering anything. But I did weld. I've welded a lot in my time. And I'm not going to say it's the same thing. It's a different kind of ball game. But soldering is not as hard. The only thing is, don't get burnt. Okay, now on this one, your long lead up here is going to be your hot. Black is hot, white is ground. Okay, now when you look at these, what you have to understand is the long ones up here are hot, and down here is your ground. So you find one of these lugs right here that lead to each one. And this one, judging from the looks of it, this one is your ground, and this one is your hot, because this one pans over and leads to these, and these comes underneath and grounds from the inside. So let's get my little handy dandy burn your finger off device down here. And we've got our helping hands here. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I ended up getting just an old skill saw blade down here to help hold that, put it up under my mat. Does an excellent job. But we're not going to need that for this. All we're going to do is take these wires loose right here. And in order to do that, you just touch to it right here. And there we go. Now this one is still somewhat good, and I will keep this for, you know, a cheap customer guitar or something like that, because you never know when you might run into somebody needing some work done on a guitar, a cheap guitar or something like that. Although I'm more than likely going to end up throwing that away because Puretone Jacks are just where it's at. I love Puretone Jacks. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is going to put a little bit of solder on these two lugs right here. And so to put solder on these lugs, you just get a little bit out right here. You touch the lug, apply solder to the tip. Okay, and touch the lug, apply solder to the tip. Okay, now that we have the solder on both of the lugs, we're going to get down here with our helping hands. These things are so much better than the old system that I got. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I also have a new little thing for my soldering instead of using the wet sponge and all that stuff. And this one holds the soldering iron so much better. And all I've got to do now is when I'm soldering to clean that tip, just jam it down in there, put it down back into its rest, and it's good to go. Okay, so now let's see here. What did I say was hot? That one's hot. So we're going to flip this thing around, bend this down here to where we can get a good. And then all we're going to do is bring this wire over, and I'm going to touch it to the hot side lug and then just heat it up, and then you let it cool. And then we're going to bring the ground side over, heat it to this lug, then let that one cool, and then it's done. That's all you have to do, string pickers. So we're going to let loose of this. Now, what I always like to do in situations like this is these lugs sometimes will be bent out a little far. So what I do is I just take one of my needle nose and I bend it in just a little bit because you don't want it to touch the walls inside of your output jack cavity. And that's it. From that point, you take off the nut and the washer here, and we get our whatever we've done with it. There it is. Get our output jack plate, and from there, what we're going to do is we're going to take the nut on the bottom and screw it all the way down, and we're going to put this through like this. Then we're going to put the washer on. Once the washer goes on, we can start the nut, get that on there, and then from here we put it back into the cavity, and then from there we just put our screws back in. So let me turn this thing up on its side. We're going to put our screw in right here, screw in right here. Okay, now that we've got that done, let's take this bit out, put our socket adapter in here, put our socket on here. Now what I like to do is this electric screwdriver has got different settings. So I never want to get screws too tight. So what I do generally with that is set it to a certain setting. String pickers always make sure that you have a nut on the inside of the output jack plate. Otherwise, you're going to have to tighten up the jack first before you drive the screws back into the guitar. I'm going to put this right back up. Okay, we hook up our wireless. You see it's turned on right there. And flip on the amp. And she's good to go. Now, Lieutenant Dan is completely fixed, completely overhauled. Got to get his ammo belt back on. It just don't look right without it. That's much better. But that is the last part of Lieutenant Dan. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to just put this out there. Anybody can take the absolute worst guitar you've ever seen in your life and make it into a good one. Why? Because you have the world's largest toolbox in your pocket. All you got to do is go to YouTube, and I guarantee you there'll be a video there somewhere for whatever you're trying to do to help you along the way. This guitar showed up, neck looking like this right here. Strings were not centered over the fretboard at all. It was way more space between the low E and the high E to the edge of the fretboards. I will say that the fret ends are perfect. I love the fret ends and the tuners. I've said this in the last video and I'll say it again. Fesley, I do not know where you get these tuning machines at, but on this guitar, they are premium. Premium. I have picked this guitar up several times. I've left it hanging on the wall hanger and picked it up every single time it's in tune. The only time that I have to adjust any tuning at all is on the G string, and that's if I get into them hard bends, you know, that screaming metal. But that, you know, I mean, who can complain about that? That's every guitar for the most part, unless you have a double locking tremo with a locking nut and all that good stuff. But yes, I love this guitar. I really do. I made it mine. I've adjusted everything to my liking. The action is perfect for me. The color, I love the camo. Kind of cool. I just like have to remember never to take this thing to the woods, because if I set it down, I'll never see it again. But yeah, the push-pull, the push-pull works great. I split them coils. It has very little 60 cycle hum that you get when you split these kind of pickups. The Safu Invader clones, ladies and gentlemen, if you're wanting something hot for metal, then get these, because they are excellent. They sound just like the Invaders, just like them. My friend Justin said the same thing. He's been a Seymour Duncan fanboy for a long time, as well as I have, and he loves these pickups. He feels like, why buy a set of Seymour Duncans for $300 when you can buy a set of these for less than 20 bucks and get the sound out of your guitar that these provide? You seen the comparison between the two in the last video after we got everything swapped over, the comparison between the stock pickups and these pickups. Less than 20 bucks. Fesley, less than $20. Put those pickups in your guitars. Strike up a deal with Safu or something. I guarantee you, a lot more people will buy your guitars if they know that they have these kind of pickups in them. Your stock pickups, well, they suck. They are something less to be desired. So guys, that's it. I just wanted to put that on today and wanted to take you guys along for the ride. I had acquired some more tools here in the studio that's going to make life a little bit easier, because I've been like cranking on screws for a long time like this, or with a drill, and drill is a whole lot heavier than these electric screwdrivers. So I finally just decided, I used to have one of these and I don't know what happened to it. I don't know if it went dead and I threw it away or what I did, but these right here are a lifesaver on your wrist. And got some deep well sockets so I could change out tuning pegs without having to worry about scratching up the paint around it with that little tool that I have to do so. So with that being said, as always, I pray that you and yours are having the best day ever. And I pray to God that He is with you all. Until next time, later.